Emerald eyes.
The ball flies so fast that Andrew may not see its trajectory, only hear the sound of broken glass coming from the two-story building across the street. It is Dr. Lewis' house. The sense of fear and confusion torments the 13-year-old boy's soul, that he did not dare to admit his mistake and ask for the ball back. In front of Andrew's eyes, a figure of a man with a red face and a ball in his hand, irregularly approaching him like a Greek warrior, ready to defeat any opponents. Ensuring harsh words uttered by Dr. Lewis, Andrew still looked remorseless. The boy returns to Andrew only when Mr. Jacob appears and compensates for the broken glass door. In silence, Mr. Jacob takes Andrew home. At the end of the street named Fournier, a small house with a red tile roof stands next to an old baobab tree. He used to be the shelter of 3 happy souls. The son that turned up Andrew's mother was the greatest loss in his life. Andrew had gradually changed his character. Despite losing a companion, he still cherished the ambition of becoming a famous painter. This unforgettable sorrow date also enabled Mr. Jacob to work crazily so that he might forget his deceased wife. However, he inadvertently neglected to spend time with his son, Andrew. After the incident with Dr. Lewis, Jacob, more than ever, yearns to find the other half, to fill the void left, replacing her to cultivate affection for their home, especially to receive Andrew. Fate freed Jacob to Esmeralda, a gentle and well-mannered woman with emerald eyes. Despite being born in a well and powerful family, she is as busy as a bee all day, serving our members thoughtfully as a high-class servant. The marriage between Jacob and Esmeralda encounters several obstacles from the family line and even pieces of slander from the neighbors. With the strong power of love, they make a decision to celebrate a wedding and officially become a couple. From the moment Esmeralda entered the house, she accomplished the housework excellently. Although she is quite cold and strict, she treats Andrew like her son. However, the two seems to be separated by an invisible barrier.
Not letting the problems between him and Esmeralda get in his way, Andrew has always strived for his dream. Every day after school, he spends all his time painting. Despite his effort, he has encountered many difficulties. His paintings are not highly appreciated by his teacher, and his drawing style is said to leave no deep impression, which makes him frustrated. Have some coffee and rest, Esmeralda says. In a quiet night, a gentle voice interrupts his concentration. Startled, he quickly turns around and stares directly into her deep green eyes. "I don't need it. Take it away," he replies coldly. But she pushes the cup of coffee in his direction. He becomes unnerved. Crash! The cup falls on Esmeralda and shatters on the ground. Even though she feels the burning pain from the boiling water, she keeps herself calm. Andrew gets angry, reaches for his jacket, leaves home, and doesn't return until the following morning. Shortly afterwards, Andrew's father dies of an unexpected accident. This makes Andrew even more desperate. He often leaves the house early in the morning and returns very late at midnight. To make up for the loss, Esmeralda cooks his favorite dishes daily and waits for him to come home until midnight. But no matter how hard she tries to pacify him, he rejects all her care. Having lost the breadwinner, the family's financial situation also becomes worse, and with Andrew's pains still not progressing smoothly, he decides to give up his dream. Knowing his intention, Esmeralda tells him not to worry about the financial problems and promises to support him until he successfully walks on the path he has always desired. "Don't do anything. I don't need your help. You are not my mother. I have never and will never consider you as my mother." Andrew vents his frustration on Esmeralda and returns to his room, deeply hurting the mother.
A church bell ringing loudly wakes him up. He gets up and walks toward the window, looking out at the stump of the old baobab tree. Every memory of the previous joy and happiness comes to his mind, leaving a slight smile and tear on his face. Immersed in his thoughts, suddenly he catches a familiar figure holding an easel and a large box in both hands, hardly walking step by step towards the forest. He looks back at his room and realizes that all his drawing tools and painting have disappeared. He runs downstairs with his heart pounding constantly and anger taking over his mind. He stabs Esmeralda, What are you doing? Why are you taking my drawing tools away? He angrily grabbed them back. You decided to stop painting. What's the point in keeping them? Andrew shouts. This is none of your business. Esmeralda looks at him seriously. If you still want to paint, I'll let you keep them. Otherwise, don't stop me. He stands motionless with his head down. I'll give you a day to think about it. Then, Esmeralda blazed everything under the tree. Andrew is ambivalent about his decision and couldn't get any sleep. The next morning, he makes up his mind. I will continue to paint, but don't touch my stuff again. From then on, he becomes more determined than ever and always tries his best. Since then, he has also made good progress. It is a usual evening. Esmeralda is preparing dinner for Andrew. Slim, therefore step toward the kitchen. You home? Esmeralda says. Change your clothes and get ready for dinner, please. I have something to tell you, Andrew murmurs, surprised by Andrew's words. Alright, but go change your clothes first. After a while, Andrew joins her for dinner. He seemed delighted. I just get a chance to join the International Art Contest in London. I'm leaving tomorrow. Esmeralda couldn't hold back her tears as he heard the news. Oh my god, Andrew, I know you would make it. He gently smiles and silently has dinner, never imagining that the following day would be the most horrendous journey of his life.
On his way to Valline Waterfall, he has an accident and is transferred to the hospital. 3 of his ribs were broken and he falls into a coma. During his coma, Esmeralda never leaves Andrew's side. Esmeralda cries and doesn't stop muttering prayers. When Esmeralda pays the hospital bill, Dr. Lewis says that Andrew will never be able to see the light again. She begs the doctor to save Andrew's eyes, but all she gets in return was a sentence, "We are truly sorry." After 3 days, Andrew finally comes out of his coma. However, the accident has taken his sight away. He loses all his hopes for painting and gives up. Despite Andrew's desperation, Esmeralda never gives up on him. Esmeralda wholeheartedly supports him. She helps him get used to daily activities, teaches him how to hold brushes, and describes the scenery for him to draw. She has become Andrew's eyes. Touched by her dedication, Andrew recalls his promise and regains hope. He decides to once again work towards his dream. On Easter morning, Esmeralda enters Dr. Lewis's room. In tears, she kneels down and begs him to save Andrew's eyes again. After a long pause, Dr. Lewis warmly whispers, Andrew still has a tiny chance to see this beautiful world again when a kind person donates his or her cornea. Without hesitation, Esmeralda wipes away her tears and strongly states, "Here, take my light, please."
6 months after the operation, it is high time to remove the bandage. Afraid that he would see her ugly appearance, Esmeralda entrusts Andrew to a nurse and quietly disappears the night before. Andrew's eyes recover, but Esmeralda is nowhere to be seen. Through the telling of the nurse, Andrew realized that his stepmother had left, and most importantly, he expresses deep regret when knowing the women he has despised for so long. It is one who accepted the darkness instead of him. Andrew rushes home and creeps into every corner of the city, but fails to find her. A few weeks later, the final round of the International Art Contest officially occurs. With the work Emerald Eyes, as well as his rich, emotional, and convincing presentation, Andrew wins first place in this prestigious competition. Subsequently, he auctioned the painting for £1,000 and spent all the money doing charity. During the charity trip, he accidentally takes a blind woman praying under the bridge. Approaching closer, he becomes stunned when hearing the familiar voice that he has been searching for nearly 13 years. He bursts out calling Mom and deeply kisses her forehead. Hand in hand, Andrew takes her home and takes care of her for the rest of her life.